card is very important, Betty.
I'm Simon. I work for the Peace Pledge Union, a union of people pledged to resist war. We're best known perhaps for our production of the White Poppy, but we do a lot of other stuff too. Tomorrow morning, Theresa May will lay a wreath at the Cenotaph to remember the war dead. This is the same Prime Minister who is selling weapons to Saudi Arabia which are being used against innocent people in Yemen. Yes. Yemeni civilians could die tomorrow with UK-made weapons while Theresa May is supposedly remembering people killed in war at the Cenotaph.
That's right.
Yesterday at 11 o'clock in Farnborough in Hampshire, the workers at the BAE Systems factory paused for 2 minutes to remember the victims of war. They then continued to make weapons. This is the hypocrisy associated with militarised remembrance. This is the same Prime Minister who is turning back refugees fleeing the wars to which her arms sales and her policies have contributed. The refugee crisis is so much about war. Arms companies are diversifying. You might think that's a good thing, but they're diversifying into further harming the people they've already harmed. Thales, which makes drones parts and other weapons parts, is also now providing militarised border security at Calais and other borders, and so contributing to wars. They then contribute to turning back and imprisoning and killing the people who flee them. Remembrance means learning from the past. If we do not remember the past, we are condemned to repeat it. Woo! Thank you. And which is why we say that remembrance cannot just be for members of British Armed Forces, though I do want to remember them. But we must remember all victims of all wars, including refugees and other innocent victims of wars still being fought. It's great to come here to this event organised by Lesbians and Gays Support the Migrants. I'm a bisexual supporting the migrants. Hope that's okay. Tomorrow the Peace Pledge Union will have the unofficial Remembrance Sunday ceremony. We've been doing it since 1937, though I wasn't there personally on that occasion. Just around the corner from the Cenotaph at Tavistock Square at 12 o'clock. Turn up for half an hour, where we will remember all victims. We will remember civilians. Sorry, somebody wants to ask a question. Okay, thank you. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon in Tavistock Square, that's Tavistock Square, put Alternative Remembrance Sunday ceremony into Facebook or ask me for one of the flyers. We will have the Alternative Remembrance Sunday ceremony. Brief bit of poetry, talk from a refugee fleeing conscription in Armenia, and 2 minutes silence and a white poppy wreath. We will remember civilians, we'll remember refugees, we'll remember conscientious objectors, we'll remember members of armed forces sold lies about freedom and glory. We'll remember them all. Thank you.
I was born in this country, so I am very much British. So when people start to talk to me about my ancestry, where do I come from, I was born in Lambeth. I embarked upon learning more about what's happened throughout the wars, because wars isn't a new feature for the world. War is not new for any of our civilizations or our countrymen. However, the truth about war is something that is not being disclosed fully for us to understand how to start building from real foundations so we can build a proper cosmopolitan society. We talk about the African contribution because Africa is a continent, and what has happened to Africa since the 1400s is something that is misunderstood. We're looking at a great deal of atrocities that have taken place to the African continent, as well as those who have been sent all around the world into the different diasporas. we're not only talking about those who have been affected by the war, we're talking about the aftermath of war and how countries have not been able to improve economically, socially, politically, or in any way, regardless of the improvements we see now going on in the world today. We're looking at a legacy of people who do not understand their own history, who do not understand their own cultures, and now are living with an identity of false representation based on what has happened in the past. So what we are aiming to do is highlight these histories, highlight these achievements, highlight these contributions. Not all people volunteered. Many people were stolen, many people were taken, and when you take men, who do you leave behind? Women and children. How would they be affected? How has that affected the community that we go on to see today? So our remembrance is to remember everyone, not only the African community, however, Africa as a continent, and I think that is very much misunderstood. And the reason why we're bringing out that remembrance, because if we don't remember our own cultures and identities, how do we share that with everyone else for us to be able to have our own voices, our own understanding, and our own future development? Without knowing who you are, we cannot come together to build something for the future with all of our contributions intact. We are remembering because it is not remembered, although we have small aspects of what things are out there, but only when we start to have our own voices out there sharing what we've been through will people be able to actually understand why the world is how it is today. It's no longer time for us to keep being silent. We must keep speaking, we must keep walking, we must keep studying, we must keep working together to start building this and pushing this forward. So thank you very much for your support. I am very glad to be here today. I found out about this yesterday and I said I have to be here, so here I am, standing and marching with you today. Thank you.
I'm here from Queerstrike with other members here from Queerstrike and All African Women's Group, and who have a banner saying the world belongs to everybody. We all have the right to be here and to be safe. And also one of the sisters has the number of people so far who have died seeking safety crossing seas, 4,220 people, women, children, men, have died so far. And we're here to protest that, to remember those people. Every life counts, and because of the racism, it's like if you're coming from African countries, from Iraq, from Syria, from Middle Eastern countries, from countries outside of Europe, it's like your life is not worth anything. And we are here to say all our lives are worth the same. They're all our sisters and brothers, and they're all our children. And we are also here to say when we used to protest in front of Parliament against the Iraq war and the invasion of Iraq, we said the best thing for the troops is to come back home. We also are campaigning for economic alternatives, so people do not go into the army or the military because they don't have money and can't get another job. We are working with Payday Men's Network, for example, to defend whistleblowers like Chelsea Manning, who's in prison for 35 years for exposing US, UK war crimes and corruption of many different countries. We have to defend her, we have to get her out, and we have to support other whistleblowers who are telling us the truth of what the governments are doing. We were chatting earlier at the beginning because the number of people who have died, the government, shocking as it may be, calculate the consequences of their policies. So Theresa May's government, Cameron's government, when they have put in refusal of refugees to come to this country, when they have sold arms to different countries, when they have made various deals, and when they have bombed and occupied different countries, they have civil servants that calculate the costs, that calculate, the estimation of the consequences of the policies, including loss of life, and that includes benefit cuts, cuts to healthcare and everything. Shocking as it may seem to us, they do that, they do calculate, they know what's happening, and they know how many people are dying. And despite this, they are refusing safety to people, refusing to stop the wars. So we're really glad to be, it's a sad occasion, but it's very important that we remember every person who has died and do everything we can to stop any more people dying, to press the government where we are in this case in England here, to say that refugees absolutely should have the right to protection and safety, and to close down detention centres. Thank you.